Better Version podcast from Beyond English Success.
Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Anna, and I'm here with Peter.
Hi, Anna. Hello, everyone. I'm Peter. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something very important: how to deal with a toxic relationship. We know that toxic relationships can happen in many different situations, whether with a friend, family member, or partner.
That's right, Peter. And it's not easy to recognize when a relationship is toxic, and it's even harder to know what to do about it. But today, we'll break it down, and hopefully we can give some advice on how to deal with it.
Yes, let's start by talking about what makes a relationship toxic. A toxic relationship is one where one person feels constantly unhappy, stressed, or even unsafe. It can feel like you're walking on eggshells, always worried about what the other person will say or do.
Exactly. Toxic relationships are not healthy. They can make you feel bad about yourself, or they might bring negative emotions like anger, sadness, or anxiety. But how do we know if a relationship is toxic? Peter, what do you think?
Great question, Anna. I think one of the signs is when communication breaks down. If one person in the relationship is always blaming, yelling, or dismissing the other person's feelings, that's a big red flag.
That's right. If someone is always critical of you or makes you feel small, that's not normal. Healthy relationships should make you feel good about yourself, not worse.
Another sign is manipulation. In a toxic relationship, one person might try to control the other, often using guilt or emotional pressure. For example, they might say things like, "If you loved me, you would do this for me," or "You never do anything right."
Yes, manipulation is a big warning sign. A healthy relationship is built on respect, trust, and fairness. But toxic relationships are often full of unfair expectations. One person might feel like they're doing all the work, while the other person isn't contributing anything.
Exactly. It's also important to mention disrespect. If someone disrespects your boundaries, your feelings, or your time, that's not okay. In a toxic relationship, one person might ignore your needs or take advantage of you.
And let's not forget about emotional abuse. This is when someone tries to control your emotions by making you feel worthless, guilty, or ashamed. It can include name-calling, insults, or making you feel like you're always in the wrong.
That's true. If you find yourself constantly feeling like you're never enough, or if someone is always putting you down, that's emotional abuse. It's very harmful to your mental health.
So now that we know the signs of a toxic relationship, let's talk about how to deal with it. Peter, what would you say is the first thing someone should do if they realize they're in a toxic relationship?
The first thing I would say is acknowledge the problem. It's important to accept that the relationship is toxic and that it's affecting you. This can be difficult because sometimes we don't want to face the truth, but it's the first step toward making things better.
I agree. Once you acknowledge the problem, you can start to think about your own needs and feelings. Sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves when we're in a toxic relationship. You need to ask yourself, how am I feeling? What do I need to feel better?
Yes, self-care is so important. In toxic relationships, people can often forget what makes them happy or what they need for their mental well-being. So it's really important to start focusing on yourself, your hobbies, and your happiness.
Another thing you can do is set clear boundaries. Boundaries are rules about what is and is not okay in a relationship. For example, if someone is always yelling at you, you can say, "I don't want to be yelled at. If this continues, I will walk away."
That's a great point, Anna. Setting boundaries helps protect your emotional health. And remember, it's okay to say no or take time for yourself. A toxic person might try to make you feel guilty, but setting boundaries is a way to protect yourself.
Another helpful tip is to talk to someone you trust. Sometimes when we're in a toxic relationship, we feel isolated and alone. Talking to a friend, family member, or therapist can help you see things clearly and give you advice on what to do next.
Exactly. Talking to someone you trust helps you get perspective. Sometimes we can't see the problem clearly when we're too close to it. A trusted friend can help you realize what's really going on.
And of course, if things get too bad, it's important to leave the relationship. If someone is emotionally or physically hurting you, it's okay to walk away. Your safety and well-being should always come first.
Yes, it can be very difficult to leave a toxic relationship, but sometimes it's the only way to protect yourself. It might feel scary, but remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where you feel loved, respected, and safe.
Peter, I completely agree. No one should stay in a relationship that causes them harm. It's important to remember that you are worthy of healthy, supportive relationships.
Absolutely, Anna. To wrap things up, let's remember that dealing with a toxic relationship is never easy, but it is possible. Recognize the signs, take care of yourself, set boundaries, and don't be afraid to reach out for help.
That's right, Peter. And remember, you don't have to go through it alone. If you need help, reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or professional. You deserve happiness and peace of mind.
Exactly. So, as we close today's episode, we'd like to leave you with some questions to think about. Question number 1. Have you ever been in a relationship that made you feel bad about yourself? Question number 2. What are some signs that a relationship might be toxic? Question number 3. How can you take care of yourself if you're in a toxic relationship? Question number 4. Do you have a friend or family member you can talk to if you need help?
Take some time to think about these questions, and remember you are strong, and you can make choices that protect your well-being.
Thank you for listening. We hope you found it helpful. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Now, we're going to learn some vocabulary and expressions to help you understand the topic better. Let's get started. Anxiety. Anxiety, meaning feeling worried or scared. Example: she felt anxiety before her speech. Blame. Blame, meaning to say someone caused a problem. Example: he blamed his brother for the mess. Dismiss. Dismiss, meaning to ignore or not think about something. Example: she dismissed his idea quickly. Red flag. Red flag, meaning a warning of a problem. Example: not listening to you is a red flag in a friendship. Critical. Critical, meaning very important or showing strong opinions. Example: it's critical to drink water every day. Manipulation. Manipulation, meaning making someone do something in a sneaky way. Example: he used manipulation to get his way. Disrespect. Disrespect, meaning being rude or not kind. Example: talking loudly in class shows disrespect. Emotional abuse. Emotional abuse. Meaning, saying mean things that hurt feelings. Example, emotional abuse can make people very sad. Insult. Insult. Meaning, to say something mean or unkind. Example, he insulted her by calling her names. Feel guilty. Feel guilty. Meaning, to feel bad for doing something wrong. Example, I feel guilty about breaking her toy. Acknowledge. Acknowledge. Meaning, to admit something is true. Example, she acknowledged her mistake and said sorry. Therapist. Therapist. Meaning, a person who helps with feelings or problems. Example, the therapist helped her feel better. Thank you for joining us today. Please like, share, and subscribe for more interesting topics in the future. We'll see you next time.